Right, so we've had the consumer view from the ombudsman, which I think was very, very important to get all of that information to you. And we now going to, of course, be looking. Let's move on. All right, we're going to move on to our next interview now. So let's talk to our guest here, and our guest is from RunwaySale, and he is the founder of a website called RunwaySale. His name is Karl Hammerschmidt. Thank you very much for joining us. He's the CEO and co-founder of RunwaySale. Thanks for being our guest. Welcome to Morning Live.
On for the protection.
All right, so Karl, talk to us a little bit about sort of what Black Friday means for you as somebody who owns an online store.
So it's obviously a very significant day of the year. I think for a lot of retailers, but especially online, December typically was the biggest sales time of the year, and Black Friday has definitely eclipsed that, or Black Friday week and Cyber Monday has definitely eclipsed that.
Black Friday really is a new phenomenon in South Africa. I know it's been around for a very long time. I think it originated in the United States. It's not something that South Africans are used to, and we know that it's to try and get South Africans to spend and to try and help out retailers as well. I mean, how do you prepare and merchandise for this kind of event? Because at the end of the day, you know, there is going to be a demand, and you need to try and meet that demand as best as possible.
100%. So I think the preparation happens in two different ways. One is on the logistics and technical side. So from that perspective, we've obviously spent the year planning. We're running double shifts or triple shifts in our warehouses. And on the technical side, it's a little bit more complex. So as I'm sure a lot of your consumers will know, sites have a bad habit of going down on Black Friday. And touch wood, luckily, we've been able to stay up for the last few years. But it is quite a complicated process, and there's quite a lot that goes on in the back end, splitting out databases, doing load testing, so on and so forth, to try and support the Black Friday rush.
Yeah.
And then on the merchandising side, that's largely driven by our suppliers who come to us and say, look, guys, we've got this stock available. Is there something you can help us with on this big shopping day?
So you don't actually hold the stock. So you have relationships with different suppliers, and then you liaise with the supplier who then sort of sends over to the customer.
So the majority of our stock is held in our own warehouses nowadays, but the suppliers will often drive that push and will actually put the stock in our warehouse. It just means that the consumer can get the stock a lot quicker, which ultimately means that they're going to sell more.
Yeah. A lot of people are still very afraid of online shopping. I mean, I know not elsewhere, because online shopping in a market like America is massive. I mean, you've got something like Amazon, which is, it's ridiculously successful. But here, people are still they're very nervous about the shopping. I mean, you know, is this nervousness warranted or not really?
Sure, look, it's a very fair point, and I think if you look around the world, Leanne, you will see that nervousness happened in every country, right? There was an adoption that had to take place in every country around the world. America just happens to be a little bit ahead of us. I don't think the nervousness is as warranted as many people believe it to be. That being said, you know, anytime you're going to be handing over credit card details or interacting, you must work with a reputable site. There, you know, you wouldn't be flippant with it in the offline environment either. So I think, you know, credit card protections come a hell of a long way. Data protections come a very long way. Our delivery services in South Africa, while we can't often rely on the post office, there are a lot of reputable courier companies that do a very good job. So the adoption is definitely seeing a massive uptick. If I think a couple of years ago, you know, our core audience was 25 to 35-year-olds. And in the last couple of years, that started growing, especially in the 45 to 55 bracket. And I think that's a clear indicator that South Africans are starting to adopt online, and it's only going to continue to pick up.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. I mean, it is going to get very, very good. But I've got a bone to pick with a lot of online retailers, because I love shopping. I love shopping online. So I'll start with RunwaySale. In fact, I didn't even know that we were interviewing you guys this morning. And then I looked, I said, oh, I've had an experience with RunwaySale, and it wasn't a very good one. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. I sent numerous emails. I ordered. I put my email in, and I never heard from you guys. And it was not a very good experience that I personally had. And then I unsubscribed from all of your emails. This was only last year. Perhaps you've improved. Now, I wonder, this was on a normal day, normal sales. I wonder, when it comes to Black Friday, you know, are you going to be able to follow through? I mean, you guys couldn't even reply to us a query of delivery dates and ETA for me. And that's where I got frustrated. But I can only imagine when the rush comes in tomorrow, how are you going to deal with this when generally on a normal day it's hard to deal with?
Sure, 100%. Look, I think like all growing companies, there have been moments where we've struggled and we've tried to kind of push the limits a little bit. I think if you've got in the last year, or I actually think in the last 2 years, our customer service rating is probably the highest of any online store in South Africa, if you look at the independent sites that track this. So, you know, during the course of the year, it's been phenomenal. I would urge anybody who's having any queries to reach out to our customer service team. We've got an average response time of less than, I think it's an hour via email, and the average pickup time on a call is less than 15 seconds. So we do track these things, and we are always trying to make sure we improve. And then just on Black Friday, it's just about being prepared, right? It's about making sure that you've got enough contingencies in place, enough stock available, and enough warehousing capacity to handle the extra load.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing because, I mean, you say this and yet I'm looking at an email. I'm just going back on my order history. Something sent on the 27th of February 2017 at 8:40 from my personal email account saying, urgent reply requested. These are my order numbers. Please get back to me. There was never a single response to this email. Eventually I had to phone, be put on hold, wait. So I'm just giving you a personal experience, which I think other people have gone through. And that's what frustrates South African consumers, that there are very big problems when it comes to online. There are some online companies that do a very, very good job, but when it comes to the customer and putting the customer first, I think sometimes we drop the ball here. Hopefully it has improved. So I take your word for it that things are better.
No, I mean, look, to be honest, I'd be very surprised if that was the case and nobody had responded. I mean, it might definitely be something that got lost in the ether, and I'll personally check up on it afterwards.
Yeah.
But I'll do one better. If it is a case of something has completely been dropped, I will personally take care of it and make sure that the full order is refunded to you. I will check into this afterwards, because it would be surprising to hear that somebody just didn't respond. It's not in the nature or the kind of ethos of our company.
Great. I'm happy to hear that, because, I mean, people enjoy spending online. They enjoy the fact of the convenience and the ease of shopping. So Black Friday is tomorrow. It's an exciting day for a lot of South Africans. Let's hope your website holds up. Let's hope that, that everything works out smoothly. You've got brilliant specials, like up to 70% off. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I think that across a range of brands and products, we've got huge discounts. And ultimately, if you kind of go into Black Friday with the right attitude and you know what you're planning on spending and you're not overextending yourself, it's a great opportunity to get the product at a reduced price to what you would normally have to pay. Fantastic.
Karl, good luck. Thanks so much for talking to us. Sorry for putting you on the spot there, but I just think I perhaps spoke for a lot of people out there, that not necessarily for your website, but for a lot of other websites. I've seen people complaining, and we hope that that's where we need, is that customer service to be improved on. So Karl Hammerschmidt talking to us about Black Friday. It's tomorrow. And just remember to spend responsibly, especially if you're using credit cards and you still need to pay off that credit card. Remember, nothing is for free. All right, we have to take a quick break.